Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to another webinar session with Nutrition Conversations Africa. And my name is AGRF, NCAfrica co-lead. So to begin this program, I am pleased to introduce and welcome our co-chair at NCAfrica, Grace Steele, who is a communications manager for country programs at Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition. Grace, over to you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Aderonke. And thank you everybody who is here this morning, afternoon, wherever you are across Africa or outside the continent. Thank you so much for taking time to join us on this particular webinar. And we welcome you for this special webinar for us, which we are hosting together with the Sun Business Network. So for those who do not know, Nutritious Conversations Africa is a collaboration between Wandeville and GAIN, that is a Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition. And it's an advocacy platform that is aimed at eliminating Africa's nutritional challenges and opportunities. So how do we do this? We highlight transformative ideas, game-changing solutions, calls to action, and drive advocacy support to address malnutrition in Africa. So today we have the special pleasure of hosting this particular webinar with SPN, AGRF, and BOP Inc. And it has brought together different stakeholders involved in the nutrition and agriculture enterprise sector who will speak on different strategies for pitching nutritious products and services. As we all know, the micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs, they are extremely vital in achieving the SDGs, especially SDG 2, 3, and 12 as applies to nutrition. Around the world, they play a critical role within our food systems, particularly for low-income consumers in low and middle-income countries. And as such critical actors in ensuring access to food and nutrition security worldwide, particularly for the poorest consumers, it is critical to include them in private and public sector efforts to increase availability, accessibility, and affordability of nutritious foods. But having said this, we must acknowledge that these SMEs do face a lot of challenges, key among them being access to finance to scale their businesses. So how can they best position themselves to attract much needed investment in their businesses? In our discussion today, we will highlight this journey through different stakeholders' experiences and the opportunities available to SMEs. So on behalf of the entire NCAfrica team, it is my hope that you'll find the discussions from today informative. We encourage your participation in the chat box and as well on social media, the handles which we shall share in the chat box throughout the webinar. And before we get into the panelist session, I'm pleased to introduce and welcome our SBN partner, Mr. Manasseh Miruka. He is the cluster lead for Nutrition Enterprise Unit at GAIN, and I welcome you to give some opening remarks. Over to you, Manasseh.
Good morning or good afternoon, where you are across Africa and across the world. Thank you very much, Grace, for the short remarks. Mine will be even shorter. I'd just like to thank you for this session and to welcome our guests and our partners to this edition of the Nutrition Conversations Africa in collaboration with the Sun Business Network, which our colleague Rita, who is in the house, is the coordinator. Okay, over to you, Yetunde.
Okay, thank you, Manasseh. I think Aderonke will take it from here and then I'll pick it up after. Thank you. Aderonke, back to you.
Sorry, thank you so much, Manasseh. And to encourage active audience participation, please, we encourage you to add your comments and your questions to the Q&A box. And as there will be opportunities for your question and answers during the moderated question and answer session. So I would like to invite Yetunde, who will take us through the panel session for today. Yetunde, over to you.
All right, thank you, Aderonke. Hello, everyone. My name is Yetunde Olarewaju. I'm the Senior Associate on Planning and Communications for the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition. As Aderonke mentioned earlier, in today's session, we'll be discussing on the theme, Pitch Ready, how to sell your nutritious products and services. And joining us today are four distinguished panelists. Please continue to put your questions in the Q&A box as we ask them questions. I'm sure that they would respond to you as soon as possible. I'd like to begin the discussion with Amanda. Is Amanda here with us already?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. Amanda Namai, she's the lead for Go Getters, Generation Africa AGRA. And she has worked with several youth networks, and she's currently the regional coordinator for East Africa at the Climate Smart Agriculture Youth Network. She also doubles up as a brand ambassador for the Global African Agribusiness Accelerator Platform. Amanda, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I'll go straight into the questions. So what pitching tips do you have for entrepreneurs? And what will you as a grant donor like to see in an entrepreneur's pitch?
Okay, well, thank you for the question. And yeah, so my current role is Go-Getters Lead at Generation Africa, and we run different opportunities for the youth, some, but not all, being competitions. And what I can say, having done this for the last 2 years, what stands out when you're pitching your product is go straight to the point, give the nutritional value of what your product does for the consumer, and then also be very specific about the kind of demographic your product is addressing. If it is for lactating mothers, and this is the case of those who've been previous winners before, so they went straight to the point. If this product is addressing maybe children, if it's a form of nutritious porridge, if you just be very specific about your market segmentation. And also another tip or trick I can give, especially when you're pitching, is remember there's limited time. More often than not, you get within 3. A generous opportunity will give you 5 minutes, but remember you're pitching within 3 minutes. So go straight to the point, give the nutritional value of your product, and also help us understand what goes into this product. So if it's made from a local fruit, explain to us what this fruit is about, the nutritional value, and also the end product that you bring to the table. Secondly, be very precise in your 2-minute or your 3-minute pitch, and even if it's written, be very precise and identify and target who your market is. If it's for the elderly, if it's for school-going children, if it's for children under 5, if it's for pregnant and lactating women, if it's like, for instance, snacks, one of our winners from last year had done a very good market segmentation for campus-going children and gave the problem statement. So remember, give your problem statement and how your product is addressing that need. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amanda. So one thing I caught is be precise about what you're pitching, what your product is about. Thank you so much for that. I will move on to Manasseh. He already introduced himself earlier, but just to mention that Manasseh has worked with private sector and SMEs in the agri and food systems, delivery quality facilitation and technical assistance in pivoting business models to access to new markets, finance, and product development. So we're happy to have you on board with us today, Manasseh. Can you please tell us what is the importance of donor support to MSMEs? And if you can also highlight some of the donor support that we have available to MSMEs in Africa. Over to you, Manasseh.
Thank you, Etunde, for that question also, and also to Amanda for clarifying what really needs to be included when pitching our product to businesses. And when we talk about donors, you're really looking at support organizations that they don't just come to Africa for networking, but they come here to catalyze activities along certain value chains. So within the food space, they catalyze, they help from ideation to innovation of the right kind of nutritious foods that we are linking our customers to, facilitating access to certain resources and creating partnerships through global networks that they already are in, and also the ones that can be created locally. So that there's a lot of catalyzing work that donors do in the local ecosystems. In terms of just helping build capacities of MSMEs and SMEs. But they also work through, local organizations, like, the work they do with enterprise support organizations to help them identify the right business models that they can cascade down to the MSMEs and to the SMEs. So this is something that donors do a lot of course, in partnership with sometimes government agencies, just local organizations, especially the enterprise support organizations. So working through these partnerships, such as USAID, FAO, the GIC, for example, or they call themselves MZN in some countries. I mean, there are different names that these organizations use in different geographies. So these are some of the major organizations that support MSME work, or creating that value connection. Largely, they work, to build capacities of the local organizations. In the current work we're doing, we are targeting work or support from one of our donor partners, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Dutch Minister of Foreign Affairs, where we work in 6 countries with enterprise support organizations to help scale reach of SMEs to content and resources that they can use to build work in those levels. These activities also go beyond just value chains. They also go into production support, or into creating brands that matter. And so donors have a big catalyzing role. I think that's how I would summarize that there a bit, that they have a catalyzing role that they play within the value chains that SMEs work in. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Manasseh. Thank you for that. Please continue to put your questions in the Q&A box. And if you'd like to also introduce yourself, let's know your business name and what country you're joining us from. That would be really fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to another panelist for the next question. And I'd like to introduce Mumbi Maina. I hope I got that right. She's the Regional Grants Manager for AGRA Dealroom Lead. And she's also part of the AGRF. So Mumbi currently serves as our Regional Grants Officer at the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa. She also oversees a team of country-based grant officers and manages a portfolio of over 100 implementing partners and grants across the countries in Africa. She has also administered and managed funds from multiple donors, including USAID, BMZ, BMGF, Rockefeller, and IFAD. So Mumbi, thank you for joining us today. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so my question to you is, are there institutions willing and ready to support or partner with SMEs in ensuring nutritious products are readily available to consumers? I mean, we have like diverse SMEs in the room, and I'm sure that they would love to know the kind of institutions that are available to support them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and also thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to the SMEs that are joining in, and looking forward to the sort of engagement we will have through this webinar. So I currently serve as the agribusiness Dealroom lead at AGRA, and as the Dealroom, we primarily aim to support with connections to investors or business partners. And I would say that, I think if there was ever a time to be in the business of nutritious value chain, it is now. Coming after the major global commitments made at the UN and that Nutrition for Growth made last year, where private governments and development partners pledged north of 20 billion to support the acceleration of ensuring that we have a healthy planet. There's a lot of opportunity for SMEs as the delivery mechanism to achieve these goals. But the path for SMEs to draw from these commitments is not straightforward. What I've found for SMEs is that there's in some instances too much out there. Too much opportunity out there, and they do not have the time to synthesize everything that is out there and then know what is the best to apply for. So as the Dealroom, we come to solve that for them. We are also partnering with Sun Business Network and with GAIN to support the SMEs access the right opportunities for them in a more effective and structured way. And through 3 approaches. We connect the SMEs to the right investor for them. once we understand what the SME is looking for. This is out of a database of over 150 investors that are looking for African food SMEs to put their money in. We also connect the SMEs to large private sector players like Cargill, Olam, Unilever, that are committed to having inclusive supply chains and also committed to making nutritious food available to their consumers. And the third is we prepare SMEs to then engage on these two levels that I've mentioned before. So there are business partners that are interested in ensuring nutritious products are made available to customers, and there are also investors very interested in investing in SMEs that are in this space. The list is long, so I wouldn't want to list it down on this webinar, but we as a partner are here to support you navigate that list and find the right partner to partner with. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mumbi. Please let's continue to put in our questions in the Q&A box. For the next question, I would like to introduce Beryl Oya. She is the MD East Africa for BOP Inc. We call it BOP Inc., but I'm sure she'll clarify that in a minute. Beryl is presently the Managing Director for East Africa in BOP Inc. She leads programs and companies, both multinationals, small and medium-sized enterprises, in inclusive business models, working with inclusive innovation approaches. She also works in the sector of agri-food, renewable energy, and WASH, with a focus to bringing in gender transformative approaches. So Beryl, thank you so much for joining us today. If you can hear me, please say hello to everyone.
Hello, Yetunde. Thanks for the introduction.
Okay, all right then. So Beryl, please tell us, what are the marketing strategies that nutrition-focused businesses can employ to balance the desire to make profits while also promoting the nutritional status of their products and services?
Thank you for the question, Yetunde. In our work with most companies over the years, bringing nutrition back to low-income communities, what we have always insisted or tried to advise the companies is to always start with the end consumer and check what their aspirations and needs are, and so that they speak to those aspirations and needs. And so here they really have to craft very clear value propositions that speak to the needs of their low-income consumers. Typically, low-income consumers don't have a lot of disposable income. In that sense, they're looking for products that would satisfy them and that are tasty. So if they're buying a product, they're aiming that one packet, for example, of flour would whole family either for 1 day or 2 days. They're not particularly looking at nutrition. And in that sense, we say that as much as nutrition is the backbone of the work that the companies we support are doing, nutrition in itself does not sell a BOP consumer. And so we always have to check with the end consumer and bring back the voice and the aspirations and the needs of the end consumer in the strategies that we try to bring so that you can successfully sell the products in the market.
Okay, thank you so much. So building on this, what are the common marketing challenges encountered by nutrition-focused businesses, and how do you think that these challenges can be tackled?
Yes, so we have seen that the biggest challenges have always been around distribution, because then how do you get your products to the right target market? And so then, of course, we always say that you might have a great campaign. When you're doing your marketing, you try to sell your product to the target consumer, right? And so you're trying to build a campaign that resonates with your consumer. But then beyond the campaign, the final decision that the consumer makes is at the point of sales. Yeah. So if the product is not available at the last mile, then it's very difficult to to have customers buy your products. And then in the end, it's not sustainable for your business because you're not making sells to the target market that you had hoped for. So distribution has always been a challenge. We try to ask companies to be as innovative as possible. We try to encourage companies to leverage on e-commerce platforms. We try to encourage companies to think about last mile distribution models. And also leveraging on, door-to-door sales strategies, because that's really the last mile, and you want to avail the product where the BOP consumer is. So either working with whether it's kiosks or the rural retail shops, or even working with women as nutrition sales agents. We have helped clients build such platforms before, so that you have women promoting nutrition products in the communities that they live in.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Beryl. I'll come back to you, Mumbi. On a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are African businesses for donor support and investment?
That's a very, very difficult question.
They are here, so I'm sure that they will also contribute. But from your experience, please tell us.
Yeah, from my experience, I think I would struggle to pick a number on that scale, but I would say that the companies that I've interacted with range from 3 to 10. We receive companies that have not yet started that journey of any sort of external engagement, so are green and need a lot of support to understand what exactly they should pursue, who is the best fit, is it a donor or is it an investor, all the way to companies that it's not their first time engaging in these things, and so they understand the dynamics and they understand the benefits and disadvantages of the different options. But maybe if I could mention some of the common gaps that I see, some of the common gaps that I see with SMEs, so that the SMEs that we have here on this call can scale themselves and tell them, they can range themselves to see where on the scale they lie. Most common I find is SMEs not having proper financial records. So you've been operating in business, and your business has a mixture of your own finances, your personal finances, and the business's finances. And then you're going out to engage an external partner. It already puts you at a disadvantage, because it's a sign that your business doesn't have the proper records that can adequately be used to measure what your revenue size is. The second most common I see is companies that have not articulated the market opportunity. So you're in business, you're serving a market, but you're unable to sell and speak to what is your unique value proposition, which specific gap are you filling in the market, and what's the market size potential. If you receive this support from a donor or from an investor, how much more can you achieve with that money? And to speak to that, you need to know what the market size is, what the competition is. You need to understand the space you're operating. So I think business is also not having a full understanding of those numbers. The numbers are very, very, very important. I think the third that I would say is unrealistic expectations. I mean, this is one of the most common I see. I find an SME says their revenue is $50,000 annually, $50,000. This is an example, $50,000 annually. And then they tell me the investment that they're looking for is $2 million. That's a hard sell. This is what we see, and the investor tries to share this with the SME that's a hard sell, whether equity or debt. It's difficult to pitch that as your first time investment, and there's a gap in that understanding, and I guess because sometimes as an entrepreneur, your soul and heart is in that business. So you really see that it's a $2 million worth business, and it probably is, but there needs to be additional documentation that supports that. Yeah. And maybe just to add, in closing, two additional things is, then the SMEs do not understand the the different investment instruments that are available. So there's debt, there's equity, and in between that, there are so many different names. And understandably, it's investor lingo. And we support that by providing trainings to help them understand what are the benefits of equity. When do you go for it? What are the benefits of debt? When do you choose debt? How do you choose to mix them? And the final one I would say is unresponsiveness of the SME. This is what we see once we connect SMEs with the right partner, then they go quiet, they go cold. Probably busy running your business because you're the sole proprietor, but then also doing yourself a disservice when you become unresponsive to the opportunities that come your way.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that insights. Very deep insights there. Thank you. I'm coming back to you, Manasseh. So what kind of business support does the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition offer to MSMEs? And how has this been effective across different countries?
Thank you so much, Tunda, for that. And of course, just even tying that to the question on challenges that SMEs face across Africa that maybe has quite comprehensively spoken about. SMEs really need support. They need business support. It's either business development support or nutrition enhancement support, especially for the ones that we work with. Some business efficiency training or tools that can support them in leveraging on their production and also on their the value chain work that they do. So at GAIN we have a lot of tools that we have developed. I mean, 20 years of being in this space gives us a little bit of a head start when it comes to discussing or understanding nutrition as a business. And so we know nutrition is business, and it's real business for the SMEs that work within that space. That's why our SBN partnership with the WFP also works hand in hand with nutrition based businesses or focused businesses to enhance that particular component. So we do train a lot on value creation, value addition to SMEs. We offer SMEs, those development support where they can access resources beyond just what they have in their communities, skills which we have in areas of fortification, for example. We have a large output in that area. We also have other tools that have been developed over the years to support SMEs to even self-assess to discover if they really have the full nutritional content in their products. And these are being disseminated. Some of them are on free platforms such as the Nutrition Business Monitor, Scan. These are tools that are available to our SMEs who work in the space of nutrition. GAIN has worked with major, under several programs that support nutrition businesses directly, such as the post-harvest loss training that is done for businesses in the agro-food space. We have worked with the Keeping Food Markets Working during COVID. That was a major initiative to support businesses so that they would be resilient beyond the ravages of COVID. We have worked with SMEs also in the making markets work. This is also an initiative that works with the SMEs that enables them to access and connect with consumers, to connect with supply chains, to connect also with distribution networks. GAIN works in several countries. We have supported SMEs, I think over 900 plus in the years that we've been in operation. And these SMEs are based in countries such as Kenya, Ethiopia, Mozambique, Nigeria. We have worked in the Southeast Asian countries, Indonesia, we are in Pakistan, India. And so there are so many countries that have been benefited from GAIN's work. And of course, largely also on our policy framework, we have also built global policies that countries outside of the GAIN network have also applied. So GAIN's impact in that space is huge, I could say. Sometimes the measure becomes a little bit difficult to say numbers because of the amount of interventions that we start with at any given time. Right now, I think we can say that we are developing packages that are looking at dairy value chains, the vegetable value chains, the animal source food value chains, the egg value chains, for example. So these are really value chains that are important to the bottom of the pyramid consumers because they enhance nutrition. They are also available and accessible. And to make that more efficient, then our work now goes to the SMEs support through technical assistance that we deliver through granting and other elements of support to the SMEs. So I think just in conclusion, that's basically a part of the work that we've done with the SMEs in this place. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manasseh. I hear technical assistance, I hear grants, and I see that some of your SMEs are already testifying to that in the chat box to say that they benefited from that. So well done to GAIN. I would move back to Amanda. Amanda, well, I mean, you have been giving us a lot of information around how businesses can pitch their products and services. What are some of the common pitching errors that you've seen, especially maybe among the go-getters applicants? Maybe some of our SMEs can also learn from that. Over to you, Amanda.
All right, thank you. So some of the errors, or let me say growth areas. Error is quite a hard term to use. I think they're learning and they're growing. So one, when pitching or when presenting your business, focus on your business. So I'll give you an example. Someone or one of our finalists has this tea that she processed from a local berry called Turkey berry. So instead of giving statistics about, world over, there's X, Y, and Z. Yes, it's important to give statistics, but make it succinct and then go straight into the solution you're providing. So even when you are talking about your business, as I said, time is limited. So be very concise in how you present yourself. So do not focus so much on quoting statistics, quoting different sources, quoting reports, and you're quoting. But that's business.
You need to quote your business.
Report. You quoted World Health Report. You quoted everything. But remember, when you're presenting to a panel, these are industry experts. So, I mean, we work closely with Mombi, and let's say we have Manasseh on the panel, or we have Beryl. These are industry experts. So, more often than not, you're talking about things that we already know about. So you can just mention in brief and then go straight to the point, because we are looking at your business. The other thing I can say is not being quantitative enough. So quantify, like Mombi was saying, when you do that assessment and you know your business is worth this much, your investment is worth this much. So figures, numbers speak. It also helps you in being concise. And then the other, maybe let me say growth area is presentation. The last 2 years, how we've done it has been virtually. So, I mean, we're now having a webinar, and also we've been doing these reviews and interviews virtually. So how you present yourself matters even virtually. So if you have branded apparel, if you have your products, it works to your advantage to have your banner or your logo. Like, for instance, myself, you don't even have to think twice as to where I work and what I do. It's right here. Yetunde, yourself, I see GAIN. So even as an entrepreneur, brand yourself well. If you have your merchandise, wear it. If you have your products, you can sit strategically where you can display your products in the background. If you have a banner, a roll-up banner, let it be seen, but also be careful not also to overwhelm your background that we don't see your face. So that's a growth area that, present your products, your brand, your merchandise, and let it stand out in your presentation as you pitch. And also, aside from just saying what your product does, it's also important to say how it works. If it's an instant porridge, are you mixing it with water? Are you mixing it with milk? How do I consume this product? Where do I find it? So we can focus so much on the grand and mighty, but where the little things, the 4 W's and how, like what, why, where, when, and that would help you to be very strategic in your placement. And yeah, also the other thing is don't focus too much on your competitor. If you're talking about the nutritional value of your product, avoid, or if you can, desist from for instance, naming names, or say like, if you eat KFC chicken, you'll get a heart attack, or this and that and that. So avoid that. Just speak about, like, be objective and be very neutral, that you are not bad mouthing or shaming other competitors or in the process of you pitching. So you can just give the downside of fast food. Don't dwell on it once again, but then give the benefit of why we should eat healthier, or we should drink a certain tea, or why we should eat natural fruits as opposed to taking supplements. But don't go about like pharmaceuticals or pumping supplements and so forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amanda. We're running really out of time. This conversation is really interesting. I really wish we had so much time to really go into the details, but my timekeeper is already telling me you're running out of time. So the last question, I will throw this to Mumbi, because I think that this is something that most MSMEs would love to hear. So what are the common attributes that a business owner should look for in the donor? And then most of them say they apply for donor funding. What's the processing like? Because you get questions like, I've not heard from them and it's been months. What is this process like? How long does it take for the donor to get back to the business? And what should the business look out for in reaching out to a donor? Thank you. Mobi, this is for you.
No, thank you, Yetunde. And I will answer both from the donor perspective and also from the investor perspective, because I encourage SMEs to go for investment more than to go for donor funding and grants, if possible, because it just gives you that additional drive in your business to get money that's not quote unquote free money. But the first step that's critical is sit back as an entrepreneur and ask yourself, why do you need the funding, whether from a donor or from an investor? Why do you need the funding? If you're not able to answer this question accurately, then you will go for the wrong donor or wrong investor or wrong type of funding. Now, there are various reasons why you would look for this funding, including, you may want to grow into a new market that you've not been in before, and if that's your strategy, then what may be more suitable is a strategic partner to partner with, and not finances. Finances may not solve that. You may want to, maybe you're operating in a business that supplies retail, and so you're paid after 30 to 90 days, and what you need is operating capital. Then a donor is not going to solve that problem. You want to get a credit line facility. Equity will also not solve that problem. So you have to first introspect and understand what it is that you need and what is the right solution to get that. And then the subsequent decisions will be better informed. Now, what are the things to look for? Whether in a donor or an investor, is to understand what, in addition to money, comes with that package. Like I said, money is not the only solution to the problems we have. So you want to find out, if I get this money, does it come with technical support? For example, as AGRA, when we're a grant making organization, so when we give you a grant, it comes along with technical expertise, experts in the fields that they're operating in, that will be supporting you to manage that grant from an operational and also a technical perspective. So they'll be giving you that capacity transfer. And you want to get such a package, whether from an investor. There are investors that give you investment plus technical assistance. There are those that will just give you the money, and then they want to see their payback on time, and there's no other relationship beyond that. And that may be what you need if you've answered the first question correctly. The second thing is, in terms of if you're going for, say, investments, find out what the terms of that investment are. One of the most common mistakes I see, or pains that I see SMEs go through, actually I'll call them pains because I've talked to SMEs that have struggled through this, is understanding the currency in which they're giving you that money. Are they giving you in local currency, or are they giving you in foreign currency? And is your business operating and being paid in local currency or in foreign currency? This one is the most common pain, so that's why I've singled it out. Because if they're not the same, the cost of that investment will be painful to you as a business. I'll move to the last question you asked, because that list of what to look out for can go longer and longer, but we can next chapter in. How long does it take? For both donors and investors, it can take from 3 months to 2 years. And it's very important as SME to manage your expectations accordingly to avoid disappointment.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mundi. Okay, I want to say a very big thank you to all our panelists for all the deep insights and perspectives you've shared with us. I would let Aderonke take over from here. Thank you. Aderonke, over to you.
All right, thank you today. Really enjoyed this session. So thanks to our panelists for your interesting conversations, question and answer session. So I would like to direct this first question to Mumbi. Actually, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say how are African businesses ready for donor support or investment? Like, are they quite ready? Do they prepare themselves ahead of the donor support or investment that might be made available to them? Thank you. Over to you, Mumbi.
Thank you so much. And so maybe I'll just add on to shed a little bit about how ready they are. And I want to avoid placing them on that scale, but rather say to the SMEs that are here, it's very important for you to be ready. Let's not discuss how ready you are, but moving forward after this webinar, it will be important for you to use this knowledge and ensure that you're coming to the opportunity ready with full information. You're able to sell, whether to a donor or an investor. You're trying to sell your business as a unique opportunity. And I think Amanda talked about not focusing on your competition. So whatever space you're in, there's somebody doing something similar. There's nothing new under the sun, but there must be that unique, different thing about your business. So, amplify that, let that come out clearly, what's unique about your business and why is it needed today? Why is it needed urgently and today? But the opportunities are there if you come ready.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I learned that you have to not really concentrate on the competition and just try to put yourself out there as being unique. All right, thank you, Mumbi, for that wonderful response. So the next question is to Beryl. All right, so I'd like to ask, are there any indicators that are used to ascertain if your product would drive much values to your customers or your consumers?
Thanks for that question. And yes, so indicators, it's very easy. For example, if you have a good campaign to sell a product for the first time to a customer, right? But then you need the customer to come back. So retention is a very key indicator to show success. And so you have to really think of ways of retaining this customer. When you look at BOP consumers, there's a lot of net promoter score that goes in the decision around purchase, right? So people buy products mostly in low-income communities because they trust when somebody around them bought the product and said that it's a good product. We also have ways of trying to have customers retained. So there's a lot of advice that goes around behavior change campaigns. So how do we make our products understood? How do we make them easy and fun to use? How do we make them desirable for the consumers? For example, how do we make it rewarding? And then finally, how do we make it a habit so that they continue using our products? And so in that sense, then retention and net promoter score becomes very critical indicators for success.
All right, thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you very much. All right, so my next question goes to Amanda. So I'd like to know, are there any strategies that are actually employed in balancing, the desire for business owners or entrepreneurs to make profit, and then while still centered on promoting the nutritional status of your consumers? How can we balance that, like making the food product more nutritious and also having a value and profit for your products? Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. So here the premise is that your product is nutritious. So let's just establish the basis. And then on your market strategy, what Beryl said, how do you create habits or create even a lifestyle and retain your customers? So there's this phrase that says customers is king. And as you think of your marketing strategy, also working on your product to ensure that you have that customer base as you grow it and creating habits. So I think the best way to keep that is to create awareness of what value your product is to the body or to your skin. So one, create awareness customer base, and two, drawing on what Beryl said, not only just get more customers, but maintain them and make sure you have like repeat customers as you keep expanding your business.
All right, thank you. Does Manasseh have any contributions to Amanda's response?
Thank you so much. Yes, of course, there are balances and there are strategies that can be applied. For example, the companies that we work with that are within the nutrition space, not all of them produce for nutritious products. Some of them just produce the standard products that you would get in the market. So what strategies they need to use is how they will fortify their products, for example, or just add the nutrients that are missing in some of those products to be accessible again to the consumers. So it's really about communicating the value that you're including or adding to that particular product, and how you're positioning that product in the market. Are you positioning it for the BOPs, or are you positioning it for the middle income earners, or where are you positioning the product? Specifically, how do you want to make profits? Fortunately, I would say that most of our work targets the unreached consumers, or what we call the vulnerable consumers. And so the products should basically be packaged in a way that they can be accessed to this base of the pyramid consumer at prices that they can also afford and they can access. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that wonderful response, Manasseh. So I actually have a question to throw out there, but I'd like any of the panelists to respond. So we know that, nutrition business owners, they're actually part of the nature of food and nutrition. So are there specific guides that are provided by the food and nutrition sector for new businesses in nutrition? So I'd like to have your response, Manasseh, if you have any contributions to that. Thank you.
Thank you. There are guides. Yes, we do have tools that are specifically designed for new businesses to go into the nutrition business space. These are like I've just mentioned, nutrition enhancement tools. These are trainings that we offer to SMEs or to startups or to companies that just want to take off in the nutrition space, and they include training on composition or reformulation of products. They include any area of food technology that is not being addressed by your particular brand or product. We do that kind of training. So yes, we do the nutrition enhancements training, and these are targeted at new, existing, and even future-looking companies if they want to operate in the nutrition space. So yeah, the trainings are available, the tools are available. We offer these under what we call technical assistance. So for companies that are willing to invest in nutrition or are committed to investing in the nutrition space, we offer pre-investment training. the pre-investment training will therefore help you now to assess your the total product line that you have with that nutrition lens, and to ensure that you can bring in the value addition required before you reach to the market, before you reach to the investors who are investing in nutrition. And these trainings are offered in some of our main countries, but they're also being offered under a new product we are offering called the Nutritious Foods Financing Facility, which is a sub-Saharan product. This one works for any company that has a certain turnover. I mean, we look at certain conditions that must be met first. But the key thing is the willingness to invest in nutrition. Then we can offer you the pre-investment technical assistance, which includes now other aspects of food technology that you may be missing as a company. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Does Mumbi have any contributions to that response?
No, I wouldn't pretend to contribute to that question. I think it's very specific in Manasseh's response.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you, Manasseh. I have the next question for you, actually. So, when is Gain Vegetable for All incentives starting, and how can SMEs benefit from this? Thank you. Over to you.
Interesting, because that's a conversation we had this morning at a workshop, in preparation for engaging the SMEs in the vegetable value chain. So it's already begun. It's not beginning, it's already begun. So we're basically identifying the key partners that we can work with, ranging from aggregation partners. We are not basically in production itself, because production would require that we work with small scale farmers or smallholder farmers, which would be as a diverse kind of contribution from us, and we don't have that capacity. But we do work within the value chain at the center, more or less, where we are trying to enhance and access food safety, freshness of the product, how this product can now reach the market and be available continuously in the market, even during dry seasons, because we know vegetables, if we're using the African model, is agri-fed agriculture and rain-fed agriculture, and that means there's a point of resources going down or just missing from the market. So our work has already begun. It's not beginning, it has already begun. So if anyone is interested in that particular component, we'll welcome you to visit with us, have a conversation with any of our teams, and we will direct you to what you can contribute. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that wonderful response. So, assuming there's someone that is interested on the part of the participants for today's session, how do they get across to you, to reach out to you concerning this? Did they reach out to you via email or?
Yes, they can reach out to us by email. They can also come to our offices at 197 The Nana Place, that is in Nairobi. I think we will put an email. Grace will share maybe the contacts for that.
All right.
For our officers, yes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you to our wonderful panelists and our participants. I'd like to conclude this Q&A session now. So thank you for your time, for your presence and concentration in today's webinar. So I'd like to hand over to Rita to give us some closing remarks.
Great. Thank you so much. So hi, everyone. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you so much. So hi, everyone. My name is Rita Shine. I'm the Global Coordinator for the Scaling Up Nutrition Business Network, or SBN for short. I see many of our members have joined today, which is absolutely brilliant. For those that are not familiar with SBN, SBN is one of 4 global networks that sit under the Scaling Up Nutrition movement and is co-convened by GAIN as well as the World Food Programme. Our core mandate is to convene businesses around nutrition and to work with our partners to support our members to act and invest responsibly in improving nutrition. So this could be, as mentioned before, technical assistance, finance, or also advocacy. We're excited that now we have over 1,400 members globally, and 80% are actually SMEs, who really are our heart and soul of our operations. And today really was a great example of the Sun Business Network's mission.
We heard today from each of our partners practical, actionable guidance on how SMEs can strike the balance between making profits as well as enhancing the nutritional impact as they navigate important milestones. So we captured, for instance, how to pitch their businesses to investors, how to pivot your business to explore new products, developing marketing strategies that respond to the needs of consumers, and also offering hot tips and intel into organizations that are ready to and willing to support SMEs. We hope that SMEs, as well as those who are in attendance, will in turn utilize the guidance to strengthen their businesses and, importantly, the nutritional impact. So we invite SMEs who haven't already to join the Sun Business Network, but also to check out the websites of today's participating organizations who continue to highlight support opportunities for SMEs. So this includes Go Getters, the AGRF Dealroom, BOP Inc., as well as GAIN. I'd also like to thank our attendees, many of whom are SMEs that posed really excellent and engaging questions. I think they kept our panelists on their toes, and to our panelists for sharing their knowledge. Last but not least, I would like to thank NCAfrica for co-hosting this event with SBN and facilitating yet another fruitful discussion. Over to you, Yetunde.
Thank you, Rita. Thanks everyone for the fantastic conversations, the questions, and the insights that we have. Want to once again thank our panelists for obliging us to be part of today's webinar. I'm sure that some of the SMEs have already written in the question and answer box. They want to get your contacts. They want to know more about your organization. Please oblige them if it's something that it's a conversation that you'd like to carry forward. On this note, I'd like to hand over back to Aderonke for the closing remarks. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Yetunde. Thank you once again to all our panelists. We thank you. So, thank you for joining us in today's session. So, we've come to the end of the webinar session for today. Do have a great day. Thank you all for joining us once again. Thank you.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.